guys, today I'm going to go over the card club for the month of May. And if you're not familiar with my card club, it's very simple to be in. All you need to do is make a purchase of $32 pre-shipping, pre-tax at my store at chris.stampinup.net. You also need to use the current host code, which I'll provide that in the video link here. If you're purchasing $150 or more, please do not use the code. You'll get your own rewards. You also need to live within the United States, and you also need to provide me with your contact information. If I don't have your contact information, I'm not going to be able to mail you your packet in the mail. If you join my stamp club, my card club, for 6 months in a row, which all you have to do is make a $32 purchase every month and use and follow the rules. If you do that 6 months in a row, I will notify you through email or mail that you are able to pick out one stamp set out of the current catalog valued at $25 or less. That's just a gift from me to you for being a loyal customer of mine. So that's it to the card club. So today I'm going to show you how we're going to make 3 different cards, and I'm going to provide you with all of the materials to make those cards. The only thing I will not provide you is the stamped images and any of the adhesives or inks or the stamp sets that you need, but I'll provide you with any of the die cuts, and if we use all the different cardstocks we use in the envelopes. So you'll get all the materials to make the cards, and you'll get the instructions here how to make them. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and what you'll get is you'll get a nice little package from me in the mail, and you'll have all your materials. You'll also get a PDF file as to what materials were used and their product numbers, so if you want to reorder them, you can. And I'm just going to go ahead. You'll get your envelopes to mail your cards out in. You'll get those provided also. So we're just going to set those aside. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start on our first card. So the first card is the one on top here. And I'm just going to set these other ones aside. So this one here, we're going to be using the Beautiful You stamp set to make this card. And what I've done is I've gone ahead and you'll get all this just like this. You'll get your cardstock. We're going to use Elegant Eggplant as your card base, and you're just going to fold it at the scored line. And then you're going to take one of the pieces of Very Vanilla, which these are both measured at 5 1/4 by 4. And one of them here, we're just going to put it on a scrap piece of paper because we're going to be doing some stamping on it. So you're going to need your ink colors here, Wisteria Wonder and Perfect Plum. And we're going to use these. The first vanilla card base we're going to use is, it's going to be our background. So you're going to need, out of the stamp set, you're going to need these 2 stamps. And you can design it any way you want. And what I did was I just kind of alternate the stamps. So I'll take my larger one first, and I'm using the Perfect Plum, and I'm just going to go ahead and stamp one here, and I'm going to stamp one here, and then down here I'm going to stamp one in the middle, and then here I'm going to do one on the corner and one on the corner again. So I just have a pattern like this. Again, you can do any way you want, but if you want to follow my cards exactly, that's how I did that. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the next stamp, and I'm going to use the Wisteria Wonder color, and I'm just going to fill in the sections here, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to, let's see here, I do it this way. I think I'm going to go up and down with it. So you get a pattern like that. And again, you can do your pattern any way you'd like. So once you get that all stamped out, we're going to take and glue it to the front of our card base with some snail adhesive. And then we're just going to set that aside. You're going to get a doily in with your kit here. And what I did was I just saved time on this one, but I'll show you. I took the Wisteria Wonder and I just squeezed my ink pad like so, and you'll get your ink on the bottom here. And then I took the aqua painters and I just picked up some of this ink and I just painted the doily. And I left the center blank because you're gonna, that's not gonna be shown on the card. We're gonna be gluing our elegant eggplant stitch shaped circle or oval there. So that's all I did. Just picked up some ink and just kind of painted around the edge. Now that will take a little bit to dry, so you can set that aside and let it dry, or you can use a heating tool to kind of speed up the process. But like I said, I already did mine to kind of save time. So once you get that done, set that aside. So we're going to take our oval out of the Very Vanilla, and this here was cut using the stitched shape framelits, and this was cut out of the third smallest stitch shaped framelit. And then this one here, the Elegant Eggplant, was cut out of the largest stitch shaped framelit. So we're going to take this guy here, and you're going to use your embossing buddy just to rub this over, because we're going to be doing some embossing on here. And what the embossing buddy does is it just takes the static away, so you don't have your powder everywhere. So then you're going to take your Versamark, and we're going to take our lady, the one holding the hat, this one here. She's holding her hat there. And we're just going to ink that up with the Versamark. And we're going to stamp that right on the front of the stitch shape oval. And then you'll see your lady on there. I don't know if you can see her. You can. And then what we'll do is take a piece of scrap paper, and I'm using silver emboss powder. We're just going to sprinkle that all over the lady. And then I just give it a couple of flicks to kind of get all the powder off of there. So you'll have your lady all inked up and with your powder on. And then we're just going to use our heat tool, and we're just going to heat this up. Now I have a pair of small tweezers that I use so I don't burn my fingers when I'm embossing. So you're just going to take your emboss gun and you're going to flick it over on number 2, and we're just going to emboss the lady. So once you have her all embossed, she'll look like that. And then we're going to go ahead and color her. And we're going to use the same 2 colors, Perfect Plum, Wisteria Wonder. And we'll do the same. We'll use our aqua painters. Again, squeeze your ink pads, and it'll give you the ink on the bottom here. So then you'll just take your aqua painter, and we'll just take some of the Wisteria Wonder here. And I don't squeeze my aqua painter. I just kind of pick it up, and there's enough water on the tip. You can, it all depends on how much water and how light you want the color. So again, like I said, I don't squeeze it. I just kind of pick it up. And I think I'll do the hat with this color. And what I like to do is I like to start at one end, and then I kind of just bring the color down to the other end. And it's nice because the emboss, having it embossed, kind of keeps your color inside the hat so it's not leaking everywhere. So I might just bring a little bit more of the darker ink over at the end there. And then I'll just take the Perfect Plum and color her dress with that. And again, I'm not squeezing the water out of here at all. I'm just going to pick up some of this, just rub it in here, pick up some of it. And again, I'm going to take and I'm going to kind of follow the outline of her dress here. And then I kind of just pull the color so you can see it gets lighter and lighter. And if it's too light, you can always go back and put more ink on there. And again, like I said, I'm not squeezing my aqua painter at all. I think it drips down and gives enough color. So when you get her the way you want her, then you're just going to set that aside and kind of let it dry a little bit. And then what I do to clean off the tips of the aqua painter is you just take on a scrap piece of paper and you kind of just rub it back and forth until there's no color once it runs clear. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the other piece of Very Vanilla cardstock that you have, which is measured 5 1/4 by 4, and we're going to put that on the inside of our card. So you're just going to take your snail adhesive, run a couple of strips, and just go ahead and set it inside the card. Now I did not do any stamping inside. You can do that with your stamp set if you want. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It just depends. So then once you have your card, we're just going to go ahead and take our purple Elegant Eggplant piece of paper, and we're going to take Our Lady, and we're going to take some snail adhesive, glue her to the front of the Elegant Eggplant, just like so, and so she's nice and centered. And then I'm going to go ahead and take some more snail adhesive, put it on the back here, and I'm just going to kind of line it up on my doily, just like so, so that she looks like that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some snail adhesive on this just to make sure it's anchored down good on the front of the card. Not snail, what did I say? Fast Fuse is what I meant to say. I'm going to use my Fast Fuse. This is a another form of adhesive we have, and it's a lot stronger. So it's recommended for when you do embossing, when you do embellishments and stuff, and you really want it to stay. So I just want to make sure that this tag's going to stay. So I'll just put a little bit of Fast Fuse on it, because I'm not going to, with this, I'm not going to anchor down the doily part here. I'm just going to put enough glue on the back here, because you kind of want that to flow. So then just make sure your card is the right size or right angle. You can either do it this way or you can do it this way. So whichever way you'd like. I think I actually like it better this way. So I'm going to put her on your card like that. So there's your first card. And very simple, very easy to make. So that's card number 1. So then we're going to go ahead and bring out our packet of stuff. And this is going to be our card number 2. This is our note card. Our note cards are great. They come in packs of 20. They come with the envelope and the note card. And our note card size is 5 by 3.5. So we're just going to take our note card and fold it right in half, right on that score line. And this one is so simple. I love this one. I love all the colors, how they kind of match together here. So you're going to take your note card, and you're going to have 3 pieces of cardstock. You're going to have Sweet Sugar Plum, Rich Razzleberry, and a Whisper White. So the first thing we're going to do is take our Whisper White. We're going to do our stamping first, so it takes time to dry. So you're going to take the lady out with the umbrella on this one, this lady here, and we're going to use her. We also are going to use the Sentiment Celebrate. So we're going to use that, and we're going to use Basic Black on the lady. And you're just going to want to ink her up. And then I stamped her towards the top. She's not centered, so just kind of put her towards the top in the middle here. So she should kind of look like that on your card, up towards the top here. And then we're going to go ahead and take the Celebrate, and this one's kind of fun. We're taking both the colors, the Rich Razzleberry and the Sweet Sugar Plum, and we're going to stamp out, we're going to ink up, I should say, half of Celebrate with one of the inks. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball it here, and I'm just going to kind of go halfway with the ink. So it looks like that. So you got half of it with the Rich Razzleberry, and then the other half will be your Sweet Sugar Plum. So you kind of just line it up, see where you ended up, and get your ink. So it's going to look like that. So then we're just going to go ahead and put this on the bottom here. And I kind of put it on the bottom off to the side. So it's going to look like that when it's all done. Isn't that fun? The two different colors like that. So we're just going to set this to the side so that has time to dry. The Basic Black does take a little bit of time to dry, so we're going to end up coloring her, so we want to make sure it's dry before we do any of the coloring. You're going to get a little piece of vellum in with this card. This here is cut 3.5 by 1 inch. So you're going to stamp on this, and we're going to use our Versamark, and we're going to use clear emboss powder. So what you're going to want to do is take your Celebrate stamp, make sure it's nice and cleaned off. We're going to be using that. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Emboss Buddy again to take the static off of this. And then I'm going to bring my card in, and I'm going to kind of eyeball it, set it here on the top here, and just see where the stamp's going to fall. You're going to want the little overhang because that's what you're going to need to attach to the back of the card. So I'm just going to go ahead and ink this up with my Versamark. And it doesn't have to be perfect because we can line it up once it's stamped. So just stamp that out. And then you're going to bring in your scrap piece of paper again. And we're going to take the clear emboss powder, and we're going to just sprinkle that over the top of the vellum. And then we're just going to heat that up. Now when you're heating with vellum, what you want to do is you want to turn your heat gun on, let it get nice and warm, and then once it's warm, you want to wave it over. You don't want to hold it in one spot because it'll really warp it if you hold it. So you just kind of want to wave it. So it takes a little bit longer, I think, to emboss because you're waving it. But so just heat up, just turn your heat gun on, let it heat up a little bit. Once you're done, it'll be nice and clear on there. I don't know if you can see it. And then what you're going to do is we're going to take our lady and we're going to line this up over the top of the Celebrate. So once you have it lined right up, then just fold these back. The little tabs, just fold them right back. And then just take your, I'm going to use my Fast Fuse, I think, because I really want it to make sure it's anchored down. And I just put 2 little strips on it so that it's covering that. And then this is going to get glued to your Rich Razzleberries. So just glue it to the top of the Rich Razzleberry. And then you're going to take this and you're going to glue it to the top of the Sweet Sugar Plum. And then we're going to take that and glue it to the top of our note card. So it's going to look like that. And it's pretty just like that, but we're going to color her also. And you also will get a enamel. This is from the Metallics enamels. And you're going to get a little star. You might get a gold one, might get a silver one. You might get a heart. But you'll get one. And you just want to, I just put mine down here on the bottom. You can put it wherever you want. And then we're just going to color in the lady. And I'm going to use our blender pens. Now, these are going up in the new catalog. So if you don't have the blender pens, you might want to get them now while the price is a little cheaper. And also, I don't know if you guys are aware, but any bundles that we have going on right now at Stampin' Up, the bundles are going to, the price of the bundles is going to disappear. You get a 10% on certain bundles when you buy them, 10% off. That 10% is going to disappear as of June 1st. So if there's any bundles in there that you've been thinking of getting, you might want to get them now before they go off of sale. We're just going to take our 2 ink pads here, our Sweet Sugar Plum and our Rich Razzleberry, and we're going to just do what we did before with the aqua painters. We're going to squeeze these so that we get some ink on the bottom. And instead of using the aqua painters, we're going to use the blender pens. You can use your aqua painters if that's what you have. You could use the aqua painters for all of this. You could use the blender pens for all of this. It doesn't matter. You're still going to get the same effect. So I'm just going to go ahead and color the girl. And I'm going to color her in, I think I'm going to color her in Rich Razzleberry. And what I do again is I kind of follow the lines with the ink to get the darkness. And then as it starts going lighter, I just kind of grab the ink and it kind of gives that nice shading effect there. I love coloring with the tools we have. And then to clean these off, same thing. You just rub them around. Don't go like this because you'll ruin your tip. Kind of go off at an angle until they run clean. And that's all you have to do. They're going to be stained. That doesn't matter because you can pick up another color and it's not going to interfere with what the stain is because it's running clear now. So then I'm just going to color her umbrella. And again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pick up a bunch of the ink and I'm going to follow the line on her umbrella. And I'll just run it clean again. And that's all there is to that card. So that's our second card. Okay guys, so the last card here I'm very excited about. We're using our brand new colors that are coming out June 1st. There's 2 other colors that are coming out. But right now you are able to purchase these. These are available in the Eastern Palette Starter Bundle or the Eastern Palace Premier Bundle. So you'll get all three of these colors, which is Tranquil Tide, Lemon Lime Twist, which is currently my favorite color. Look at that color. And Fresh Fig. So these, like I said, they come in both the bundles. So we're going to be using these today. And your next kit here that you have would be your last one. You're going to take your card base. This is Melon Mambo, and it's an A2 base. And we're just going to fold it at the score line. And then we're just going to set that aside. So you're going to get a piece of vellum cardstock in there. This measures out 5 1/4 by 4. And we're going to run this through the Big Shot. And you're going to use the fairly new Hexagon Dynamic Textured Impressions Embossing Folder. That's a mouthful. You're going to use this to emboss. So you're just going to put that in there. And I just wanted to show you how this folder here is the dynamic textured. So you run this through the Big Shot a little differently than the regular emboss folders that we have. So you would put your Big Shot platform down like so, and then you would use just the folder. You would set that down next with your paper in it, and then you would just use a plate on top of that. And let me just turn this around here. And we would just run this through just like so. You can run it through once or twice, whatever you want. And then you're going to get this beautifully textured piece of vellum paper. It's so neat. So let me just move the Big Shot out of the way here. So now the fun part comes with this. You're going to flip it. You'll see that it's got the raised side and it's got the side that's impressed. So that's the side we're going to color. We're just going to use this side here, not the raised hexagons. And we're going to take our brayer, the foam brayers, and we're just going to use the new Tranquil Tide color. And depending on which colors you use this with, it either looks green or it looks blue. So we're just going to go ahead and get our foam brayer, or our sponge brayer, all inked up. And you're just going to roll this over the top of the folder, which I will have this already inked up for you, so you don't need to do this. But if you wanted to make some more of these cards on your own, this is what you would do. You would just roll your color over the top of it. So once you get the ink on there where you're happy with it, then I'm just going to close that up, and we're going to glue this to the top of one of the pieces of the Whisper White. Now you see the color here, but then when you put it on the Whisper White, it really pops out. So it's up to you which side you want to glue up. You can either glue up the hexagon side or this side, which I think I'm going to glue this side up because it just seems to pop up the color a little bit more. So the nice thing about this, usually when you glue down vellum, you can see right through it and you can see your glues that you used. But because this is embossed and it's got ink on it, it's really going to hide your adhesive. So I'm going to use Fast Fuse, and I'm just going to get it all around the edge here so it doesn't lift up. And then we're just going to glue that right down onto your card base. So you can't even see the the adhesive on there. Okay guys, so I had to wash my hands with a wipe. I should have, if I wanted this side up, I should have inked the other side, because I put the inked side up and then I got ink all over the place. So that was silly on my part. So when you're inking this up, just before you ink it up, determine which side you'd like on the top, or ink it up and then let it dry. So you won't have that problem with mine, because yours will be dry when you get it in the mail from me. So once you have this all anchored down, then you're going to go ahead and we're going to put it on top of the Melon Mambo. And I'm just going to use some snail adhesive to anchor that down. I just love how these colors go together. Look at how pretty. I just love those colors. And then when you add the lemon lime, they're just so pretty. So then you're gonna get, when you get your set here, you're gonna get a scalloped oval, and you're gonna get a circle, and then one more piece of Whisper White, which this will go on the inside of your card. So we'll just go ahead and glue that down right now. And again, I haven't decorated the inside of the cards at all. You could do that. I also have not decorated the envelopes, which a lot of times when I'm mailing out a card, I will decorate the envelope also to match. So you just glue that down on the inside, and then you're going to take your oval on Whisper White, and we're going to take our dancing lady. She is this one right here, and we're going to take her and we're going to stamp her in with basic black, and we're just going to stamp her right on the front of this oval, and her leg and her arm is going to go off the edge a little. That's okay. So she'll be like that. And then this small little circle here, we're going to use our Versamark, and we're going to use the Lemon Lime Twist ink pad. Okay, so we're going to take our stamp, which is this one here. The Life May Not Be the Party we had hoped for, but while we're here, we might as well dance. So we're going to take that one. You can use any of these, but I thought that one worked well with the dancing lady. And this is a little trick that I learned from another demonstrator. You take your Versamark and you take any ink pad and you stamp your Versamark first and then your ink, and then you stamp it down, and you can emboss in that color. So it's basically having a clear image, clear coat of emboss over that. But if you stamp with your ink first, your ink's going to dry and the emboss powder's not going to stick on it. And then if you try to line your Versamark up with your stamped image, sometimes you're going to get a, it's not going to be perfect. So this way here, it'll always be a perfect image. You won't have the double lines on it or whatever. So what you do is you just take your Versamark, you ink that up first. That's the key. You ink up this first, and then you put it on your ink pad. And I'm going to use the Lemon Lime Twist color here. And once you get it inked up, then you just put it on your circle. We're just going to ink it up on your circle. And I already did the embossing buddy on here, so you just want to make sure you rub this with your embossing buddy. And you're just going to line it up on the circle. And then you're going to take your clear emboss powder, and we're just going to put that over the top. And then just give it a little flick to get all the extra off, and then you're just going to go ahead and emboss that. So once it's embossed, it just gives it that nice little shine. And like I said, that's a cute little technique to do with any inks that you have. It'll give it that clear coat over the top. So what I'm going to do is I inked this circle up with the Tranquil Tide. I just took my ink pad, but I'm going to use the Fresh Fig this time. And all I did was I took and I just kind of rolled it around. You don't have to do this. I'll just give you the clear circle or the plain circle because I know a lot of you guys won't have the new ink colors, but if you, any ink colors will work on this. But it just gives it that extra little edge around there. So we'll set that to the side, and then we're going to do the same thing with this ink pad that we've done on the other two cards. You're going to squeeze it. This is the Fresh Fig, and we're going to use the blender pens again. And you're just going to pick up the ink, and we're just going to color this girl in. So again, I use the darker, the edge here, and I apply the darker ink, and then you kind of just pull from it. So it's not as hard as you would think to do this coloring and make it look nice, especially with the right tools. I was amazed at the different colorings I have been able to do since I've joined Stampin' Up! And I've gotten their products to help me. It's just crazy. With the right tools, you can do it. So again, what I do is I just kind of get the darker ink and follow the lines, and then I just start coloring, and it kind of pulls in some of the inks and makes it lighter. And then, you know, you just, if you don't like the way it is, just kind of add more ink and color away. So once you have her the way you want, then we're going to go ahead and glue her to the front of the card. And I actually used dimensionals to pop her up on the front of the card. Again, what I did was I took my Lemon Lime Twist to give it that extra little pop. I just took her and I kind of just rolled the oval along the outside here, or along around the ink pad, I should say. And if you lean it in a little bit more, you'll get a little bit more ink around the outside edges there. So just to give it another little pop there. So I just put a bunch of dimensionals on here, and I'm just going to take the backs off and just apply them to the card. And then I just have my card opening this way, so I kind of put her on one end, and then I kind of put the sentiment kind of in the middle towards the bottom more. Isn't that so pretty? Look at those colors. They just go so awesome together. So I hope you enjoyed those 3 cards. Right now, Stampin' Up! Is going through their retirement list, and they are offering a lot of great clearance items. So if you haven't had a chance to get in there and shop, I would suggest you get in there before these products are gone. And also, like I said, they've released the Eastern Palace bundles, so get in there and check those out. They're pretty neat. Those will be in the upcoming catalog in June. Thanks for watching, guys.